Once again, my name is Jordan Luu. I'm going to be hosting today's session. And today I want to be providing insights on buyer propensity, right? So we're going to talk buyer propensity. We're going to talk about the changes that we are seeing in the industry and how are we responding to it. You know, back in the day, at least when I first started knocking, it was what, 2011, 2010. The golden standard was cold canvassing, right? We wanted to recruit reps. We wanted to send them into areas. It was non-data centric. This was my SalesRabbit, essentially. I had a fold over top notepad. You know, it was a little bit of that thicker paper. I was writing down addresses, names, and it wasn't data centric at all, right? And it's because these tools didn't exist or they were barely emerging. Also, we're seeing a huge change in the workforce with more millennials who are data centric. We see them driving changes to the way that we work. And reps are breaking new records. Top performers are crushing what we thought were the limits. And what they're doing is working. It's just not the way that my dad knocked doors, right? And so what we're able to see is over the industry, our best in class customers with these data centric tools and processes, we're able to close at a higher rate. And so today I want to cover 3 tools that are centered around buyer propensity. I'm going to throw my screen up here. Let me just get a thumbs up. Make sure that everything's good here. Pull my screen up. Participants can now see my screen. All right, awesome. In the chat here, let me see if you guys can see my screen here. We good? Brittany, can you confirm?
You're good.
Okay, perfect. I want to dive in. The first thing I want to talk about is going to be data grid, right? When it comes to buyer propensity, there really isn't a tool out there better for me to get an idea of not only a single home, but a neighborhood, a zip code, a census tract, right? For me to tailor pitch my approach and find where my customers are that are best going to align with my strategies. Now, me personally, I love knocking upper to middle class. I love having a good conversation. I love running into people who have credit. I've sold in different industries, whether it be home automation, security, pest control, roofing, solar. And this product right here really has enhanced my game in every aspect when it comes to those sales. So let's talk about SalesRabbit and Data Grid. I'm on the Sales Hub, and this is where the rep is spending 80 to 90% of their time in SalesRabbit, right? This is my office space, and this is my organization when it comes to my process. I'm going to close out here. I want to first just talk about Data Grid from a high level and break down what it is and what it can do and ways that we can use it. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to come over to this diamond right here. This is going to be my Data Grid area scores. Now, when I hit this, you're going to notice I've got these jigsaw puzzle pieces that come up, and I've got these numbers and scores, right? 7.9, 8.2, 7.7. Right now, what I've got set this for is a pest control model. These are going to be industry specific. But what we're going to do is we are now ranking these areas on a 1 to 10 propensity to buy. Let me dive in a little further and show you what that means. I'm going to select this 7.7 area. From a high level, it's going to let me know that I've got 1,758 homes in this area. It's telling me that 84% of these homes are going to be home owners with an average credit score of 737. These are going to be the home values at 688K, the average square footage, the average length of residence. I really love knowing the areas I'm going into, if it's a lot of new move-ins or is it more of a mature area. The average home, the years were built. This right here is cool too, letting me know that 3% of this area are going to be new move-ins within the last 90 days, right? I love knocking new move-ins, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Right here is going to show the average age, excluding children, the average income, and then how many occupants live in the home. Now, with these areas, it's nice to know when we're sending people. I want to work area efficiently, right? Now, these lower scored areas, like a 4.9, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to knock that area, but I'm going to knock this area smart, or I'm going to assign it maybe to a new rep. I remember when I first got into the industry, I studied my presentation, I studied all my sales materials, I get ready, I go on my blitz, I drive out to New Mexico, I knock that first door, and it's deer in the headlights. And I think I said, I'm sorry, walked out that door completely embarrassing. And so what I would do and what I've seen work well is for managers and owners to assign reps who still have the training wheels to these areas, right? Let's tap on this area. 46% of these homeowners of these area are going to be homeowners. And so if I've got a new rep, I can send them here. I don't have to worry about them burning hood. They can take the trainings wheel off, learn their presentation, and get sharper. And overall, we can use this to better send our reps to areas where we are going to get the best bang for our time. So let's dive in and let's take a look at this specifically from a homeowner level. I'm going to assign this 6.5 area to myself. First, I'm going to assign it to an office, and then I'm going to assign it to the rep specifically. So I'm going to come down and assign this to myself. Go ahead and hit save, and pins are going to populate. We're going to have these diamonds that are now going to appear over these homes. And the way these scores are populated is we are taking, it's around 680 different data points that we're going to cross-reference to our models. And what they're doing is they're going to throw those into three main categories: lifestyle, demographics, and property type, right? And then what we do is we take your customer information and we feed it into this model and we train it to find ideal customers or lookalike customers to use specifically in the markets that you serve, right? And over time, these numbers get refined. But what this is giving me is insight into the entire area. And the way I work area is once I choose and select a neighborhood to work, I'm in there till I talk to about 90% of those neighbors. Honestly, switching new hood, it gives me anxiety because I've been working here for so long. I've gotten to know the HOA president. I've gotten onto Facebook. They're starting to see fulfillment. And so I'll work this area until I've talked to everybody. But I want to start with these green, these higher scores, right? I want to build some momentum. And on these lower scores, I'm going to qualify quickly. I'm not going to waste a ton of time talking about the Camaro in the front driveway. I'm going to make sure that they're qualified, make sure that I can provide value, and then continue on with the sale. Let's go ahead and tap on one of these. Let's say I pulled my truck up right here. I'm getting ready to knock, skirt, open up my door, walk out. I can tap on this. And it's going to give me some info. There's multiple contact cards. I'm going to lean on this first contact card to be the person who's on the title. Now we do get phone numbers. I'm always using this as maybe a soft close or a check because we're always changing our cell phone providers nowadays. And I always want to make sure that's accurate. But I've got an idea now. Daryl Nims, 50 years old, married, been living here for about 20 years, probably knows the neighbors pretty well, but he's 50 to 53. When I knock that door, I'm not going to call him Daryl. I may ask, hey, is this a Nims residence? Right. And the one thing I've noticed in my 7 years in this space is that is common amongst all top producers is there's always a name drop, right? We've heard it. It's either we're dropping the neighbors for a bandwagon effect, or we're asking the neighbors or looking for packages to use that name, right? And what we've found across the industry is that by using a name, their name specifically, in the approach, we break preoccupation in such a unique way that we're buying ourselves about an extra 60 seconds on that doorstep. Main reason is someone says my name, I'm not thinking about, my meal that's in the oven or the ESPN highlights I just saw. I'm thinking about, okay, who's this guy on my doorstep? He knows all my neighbors and he knows my name. I'm now listening and I'm open to receiving whatever information is going to be passed along. So if I were to knock on this, I definitely would want to name drop his neighbors' names. I'm going to talk about George, talk about Tiffany, talk about John, and I'm going to say, hey, didn't your neighbors let you know I was going to be stopping by? But to have this power before I even knock the door gives me so much more confidence, so much more authority, and I belong to the area. I have ownership now. So data grid, honestly, is one of my favorite features when it comes to buyer propensity. Oops, let me tap out here. When it comes to buyer propensity, when we're dispositioning, it's the same as before. Let's say I speak to Daryl and Daryl says, you know what, really interested in your product or service, but can you stop by a little later today when my wife is home and talk to both of us? Really simple there. We just disposition. It becomes a go back. I can tap on that go back and still take a look at that data grid information that's saved there. With so much insight, so much power in having a name. The next piece I want to talk about is going to be weather. Now, data grid is specifically is good for all industries. We have so many different industries that we serve, and data grid can be applicable to all of them. Weather, I'm going to talk about weather. This is going to be more specific for the roofing, but I'm going to close with the product movers at the end that's more open to everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and turn data grid off for now. I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to tap this weather icon right here. Weather's going to pop up from the bottom. I've got a weather map, and what I can do is take a look at first either hail size, hail probability, or wind gusts. Let's go ahead and find a hailstorm. I know back on the 13th, we do select a date. Date ranges are coming where we can search a start and end range and all the storms and swaths that were in there. For now, though, it's a specific date. The swaths are nationwide. So let's go ahead and zoom out. I'm going to go ahead and turn weather on. Let's go ahead and zoom out, take a look and see if we can see some color. Okay, Texas recently got hit. A lot of people working storms out there, a lot of damage. So you can see hail size for the 13th of 2022. These swaths are then going to populate across the map. Let's zoom in a little closer. Now for storm chasing and insurance work, typically if you're not first, you're last. And so we'll see the eyes of these storms be ran to pretty quickly. That's a great strategy. We want to get there first, and our SMS, text, and email alerts are going to help you do that. Being able to get that message and know that a storm is happening live, where the area is very advantageous to beating your competition to where you're going. But we've also seen strategies of working the outside areas, right? These lower hanging fruits, areas that weren't in the center, but still receive some pretty good hail. If I tap the color, they'll let me know this is 1.25 inches. Out here, we're looking at 1 inch. All this typically is still good if we're trying to get a claim bought. Let's drill into a neighborhood here. And let's take a look at this lead. So what's really cool about our weather feature, and I like it the most, is we can run formal reports that are going to show me every date an incident has happened, and we can backdate that up to 3 years. Right. So if I tap on this here, the way that we're going to submit a form is, let's say we're in this area, we're offering, free inspections, right? Did you get the mailer in the mail? Okay, well, your neighbor, Rosia, her husband's running late from the Home Depot. I've got about 30 minutes. I can throw in a free inspection if your home qualifies. I get up on the roof, do my inspection, come back down. Oh yeah, there's some damage. Let me get a weather report. The way it works is it's form-based. So we're going to go down to this pencil. We're going to open up a form, the top ribbon there, come down to my weather report. All I'm going to need is the first name, last name, the address. We're going to go ahead and hit submit. This is going to load. Now, this will take about 1 minute or 2 to load, a little longer if there's more incidents, because it's gathering, compiling all those incidents. But I'm going to let this submit, and then I've got a weather report that I already submitted that we can just pull up and take a look at now. So you can see it's telling me 24 significant weather events found at this address. The weather report is going to be added to the lead as a PDF file. Now, once that syncs, like I said, a minute or 2, it'll save it in the files. I'm going to jump back to my leads here, and I'm going to find a weather report. Here's the weather form. And this is what it's going to look like. It's going to save it into that file. This is obviously a different storm date, but I just want to show you guys what this is going to look like. You would download it and then go ahead and tap to open. Now, this would be your logo. I love the North Face, so I've got it branded in my demo account, but this would be your logo, your business, the rep's name, and the customer's name and their address, right? And then here are all the dates. Here are going to be the hail sizes. We've got wind speed and duration. And you notice this spans all the way back to 2019. Cool thing about this is we have joined hands with Veris and Xactimate to provide this data. And those are the 2 data centers, I think, what the top 20 insurance providers are going to be looking at when you're dealing with the adjuster. And it's as simple as tapping this here to go ahead and send this to the customer. Let's say they had a clean bill of health. It's always nice to go ahead and, well, let me get you a formal report. Let me email this over to you. And if anything ever does happen, we want to be the ones to keep you safe and you and your family warm, right? And then once again, if we are dealing with adjusters, everything is formal and legit. We've got the legend and key here. Tons of power behind this, but also tons of power behind just having the swaths and your reps knowing where they're knocking and making sure we're in an area that's going to be able to have a storm. Okay. Weather is one of my favorites. Really love what we've done. This is a new product that we've released, and it's only getting better over time. The last piece I want to talk about is going to be movers. I love this strategy. I have so many friends in the industry. And back in the day when I was knocking, I couldn't tell you a better door than when I knocked on the house and the homeowner says to me, oh, we just moved in 2 to 3 weeks ago. Perfect, Mr. Customer. They're friendly. They're happy. They're getting their internet set up, the water. They're just in this mood to buy. And so what we've done is we've created a product called Movers. Let me jump back to my map here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So let me show you a quick slide deck. I didn't want to go slide deck heavy. I always get bored out by slides, but the slide deck we have for Movers, I think, is pretty nice. So I'm going to start here, and then I'll kind of show you the strategy that I've used and what I've seen in the industry. So new movers, there's the problem, right? Is 31 million people are moving in, buying new homes, right? And reps who are intuitive, reps that want to get creative, they want to go approach these leads because there's something special to it. But the problem is there's not really a legally compliant way. Most of it's really manual and takes a ton of time. And so we have provided the solution, which is New Movers. This is going to be new homeowner data that's going to be automatically accessible to sales reps. We can route these. They're going to pre-populate. We're going to save time, and it's going to be compliant. So the way this works is we pick zip codes. We assign zip codes to the rep, and then these leads are going to be pulling depending on the config. Let me show you how this works. The setup is like this. We can select an event for just closed, under contract, or just listed, and then we have a frequency, right? Real time, daily, weekly, monthly, and then there's a lead delay. So we first assign a zip code to a rep. We set up at what trigger we want that to be posted. Typically, it's just closed. And if you have it set up in real time, every time one of these homes closes in Lehigh, a rep's going to get notified, a pin's going to be populated, and those reps can then go be the welcoming committee, right? So let me jump back to my map and show you how I've got it set up. So all these purple moving trucks right here are going to be move-ins that have populated for me. The zip codes I've done are 2 cities, Lehigh and the city over here, Harriman. And I am the mayor of Lehigh and Harriman when it comes to new move-ins and the solar projects that are going on. Now, it depends on what market you're in. Sometimes you need to have some usage. Typically, you need about a month of usage, and you can take a look at existing systems to create an offset that makes sense. Pest control, love showing up on a home that just moved in. We'll get you on the route. Retail work, I love. The only thing I don't see a ton of use for this is going to be insurance claim roofing for now. But let's go ahead and dive in here and take a look at this. So there's these populate. If we have data grid, we'll know who lived there prior. If not, it's going to show up as a mover, and I'm going to have the address, right? Included on that is going to be the MLS data. So it's going to show me the status, residential square footage, what it sold for, and then when it was listed. But I can show up to these homes, be the first face that they see, tailor my strategy around that. And we've been seeing a ton of success with that. And all in all, this is our buyer propensity package. You know, these are the tools and systems that we've seen really scale and elevate. I want to jump into questions now. We've got some questions in here in the chat. Let's go through these and let's talk. A lot of questions here. Sorry, guys, I didn't have the questions up when I was going. I get going, I'm talking. Let's dive in first. Let's talk about, can data be provided for business to business? So that is a huge area that we want to solve for. Right now, we have business search, which will give you a 1 mile radius of all the businesses inside business buildings or in that area for a specific business. Now, information like who owns the lease, who's the decision maker, we don't have that yet. And if you guys know of some solutions, throw them in the chat. We can all elevate the industry together. Stay tuned. The weather link would be the weather icon that is an add-on. Those can be used now. We do have them out. Let's see here, weather options, I guess. Oh, yep, absolutely. So I should have mentioned, these are all part of SalesRabbit's Pro plan, and they are additional add-ons. All of our pricing is online though. Yes, sun hours is a big point. That's actually the number one. That's the first data point that they look at, is going to be sun hours. Then I think it's mortgage liability. The secret sauce list is really, really long. I think on our website, we've got like 5 or 6 of those main data points that we are looking for. But yes, that was a great question now. And sun hours is a big part. Insurance agents. Yes, so an insurance model, that is something that we don't have yet, but with your help and your customer list, we could train and create a model specifically for you and your insurance business. Absolutely. The data can be used for marketing. Let me pull up my slide here. They talk about how we can use this past a door knock, right? Especially with our data grid AI. Here's my slide where they talk about past a door knock, right? So for digital marketing, geo-targeting, and other highly effective campaigns, using this data grid AI intelligence, whether we're exporting the data to then, throw into a lob integration, so we're sending out mailers. There is a lot that we can do, and it is very, very powerful. I did want to be respectful to you guys' time. I know you are very, very busy. I want to leave these last few minutes for questions, but I want to encourage you all. I'm going to drop my link in here one more time to schedule a meeting with me. Oh, yes. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Great question. One last thing, actually. Glad you brought that up right there, Mitchell Fink. Data grid filtering. So let's dive in here. I had a rep that was telling me how they were using this the other day. They love getting started. They're early morning, win the morning type personality, and they're up at 5 a.m. every day, and they're hungry to knock. And he's like, sometimes I get on the doors at 7:30. I said, 7:30? Who are you talking to? He says, no. He says, with the data grid, I can filter for age range, and I just filter for 60 above, and I walk around and I'm catching people 7:30, 8:30 in the morning. He said, the early bird get the worm. I said, you're crazy. So let me show you some of the filters we have in here and some of the creative ideas that reps have been coming up with. So if I hit this funnel icon in the top left, I've got data grid filters. If I open up the filters, I can filter by score, year the home was built, home value, square feet, length of residence, household size, credit scores. One thing I'll say about credit scores is if we filter for credit scores, we're only showing credit scores that we have. If we don't have like the average from the 3 bureaus, we're not going to guess, and it's going to show up as a white diamond. So I mean, credit score is cool if you really want, if you first get to an area and you really just want to knock the sure thing, I would start there. Age, though, is where he was filtering for, and he said he was having a ton of success with that. Filter by household income, gender, language. Love that. If you're Spanish speaking and that's your bread and butter, let's go through and really grab that low hanging fruit for you. Occupancy, marital status, and then occupations as well. Data. Someone asked, how can I get data grid? That's a great question. Schedule some time with me. We can hop on, make sure it's a good fit for you, tailor the model to your business, get it turned on, get you in touch with your account manager, get a refresher training for the reps with the new UI, as well as an admin training on how it works. Throw that link in there one more time. Movers is going to be a subscription base where you're able to purchase those leads as a bucket and use them up. And then if you want to refill, you can always refill. There's no catch there. It's just a buy it and use it. Very, very cool though. Once again, guys, if you are interested in any of this or interested in just an account review to make sure your SalesRabbit experience is optimized, please hop on the link, click the link, find some time with me. We can talk about this. We can talk about your account. We can talk about anything related to your business. Would love a chance to meet, learn more about your business, learn more about your objectives, your goals, and how SalesRabbit is aligning to help you achieve that. Very, very cool. Let's see. Throw this in here. Are you guys able to see the link? I've got a calendar link there. Should be a strategy and goals alignment call. I want to make sure everyone's got that link in the chat. Okay, awesome. We can see the chat there. No, I can't see the link I'm seeing from William. Let me see. Brittany, are you able to post a link in there too? We've got a bunch of people saying I'm not able to see the link here, and I want you guys to get that link. Make sure you're sending to everyone. Thank you for that tip. I appreciate that. I'm going to drop it one more time. Tester2 test name. You are a baller and a tech wizard. There we go. Let's see. And everybody that's on the call, I'm going to do you one better. I'm just going to email you the link so you've got that in a safe spot as well. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to let you guys get back to your day. Once again, please, we don't even have to talk about these products. We can just talk about where you're at currently. We want you to feel the love from SalesRabbit. And so please, I've got that link in the chat as well as sending out to all your guys' email. I would be thrilled if all 300 of you guys wanted to go ahead and click that link and just book me out for the next month. But once again, thank you so much for your guys' time. Really, really appreciate it. This is a partnership. I hope you can look at SalesRabbit as not just another vendor or service. Your growth is our growth, and we mean it sincerely. Treat me like you would go ahead and treat your employees. I'm just another contractor. I want to buy into your guys' culture, and anything that we can do to provide value, we want to do so. So once again, a big thank you. Tons of love from SalesRabbit to everybody. Thank you so much, guys. Hope you have a great day.